It's like 3 in the morning.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Very
We just walked home in the pouring, freezing rain. Okay, it was only 10 minutes, but still.
Yeah, we saw the first showing of The Last Jedi, ? In Derry.
Aye. And we saw it in reclining seats, because the Strand Omniplex has this new thing. And this just shows you how old I am. I'm looking for the lever to go, we're gonna chunk, so you, like, recline, but it's like trying to go, and it goes, and then you go,
yeah, these recliners have, like, buttons and stuff.
And they're class. They're, like, big, thick, and leather, and comfy.
You know, that cinema, you know, if it gets decent popcorn someday, and it has fresh Ben & Jerry's ice cream, like the one at the bowling alley, it'll be a good cinema.
I ate too much popcorn, even though I only got a small.
You got small, and you stole a bunch of mine.
I like a few handfuls. I stole handfuls
6
2 times.
handfuls.
Oh, for Christ's sake. She bought a huge one.
Well, yeah.
I ate most of my popcorn before the movie started. That's how it is. Alright, so the spoiler-free version first.
Yes.
It's really good. It's very pretty, but as I always say, what isn't these days? Very well acted. A lot of the characters really, really matured. Just a lot of little teeny things that were really good. A lot of throwbacks that were really good. But John Williams' score was excellent, by the way. I had some pacing issues that I'm not sure if I would have picked up on if I hadn't watched Chris Stuckman talk about them, but I was like, well, okay, yeah, I can notice that. But my brother-in-law was like, well, that was quite flawed.
That was Teddy the Minion. He was like...
Pacing was just flawed.
Teddy the Minion called it problematic, though not in the internet sense.
Not in the I saw a racism sense. But no, it was really good, and I'm very much looking forward for the next one in 2 years. Just another really great show. But then again, you knew it would be, so, like, I mean, you know...
I'd say, like Return of the Jedi, this has bits that are really good and bits that are much less than really good.
Yeah.
Like Force Awakens is,
But visually stunning. Cinematography is fantastic.
Yeah. Like I was not impressed with Force Awakens particularly. I was much more impressed with Rogue One because it did something different and new, while this one...
Everybody dies!
While Rogue One was basically a remix of New Hope with bits of Empire, while this one... It's its own thing, not quite as much as Rogue One, but it's definitely not consistently good.
Something I wanted to add, though, that I was thinking about when we were walking home is that there's a lot of closure here that really does put a cap on how many years it has been since the original Star Wars, and really does make you think about the first time you ever saw it. And I was born in the first week of 1980, so for me it would be like as a little teeny kid watching the VHS. Because we had a VCR, I want to say maybe 2000, not 2000, I'm sorry, 1984, 85 was when I first got our first one. And I think my dad knew someone with one of the double-deck cheating ones that you could make copies of VHS. So I had a version that was home taped, but it wasn't taped off television, so...
Yeah, we're...
But, like, I knew where, like, all the little tracking errors would be.
We're at the very oldest end of people who have... always had Star Wars in their lives.
Yeah. Like, I had the Fisher-Price, like, the little book and record player, you know, like, when you hear R2-D2 make a sound, turn the page. And you did, you turned the page, and, you know.
Yeah, so that was the spoiler-free bit.
So, stop watching now if you don't want to be spoiled, but if you keep watching, that's not our problem, really.
Yeah. Okay, so, spoilers. With the exception of Rogue One, this is the named character killingest Star Wars film probably ever.
This is like the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because...
Or like Walking Dead.
And like Rogue One, these are characters who all introduced in this film, then they died. In this one, it's like characters from other films die. I mean,
a lot of extras, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attrition.
Yeah, but you've got like Admiral Akbar dies, you've got Luke Skywalker dies... You've got, well, Holdo just turned up in this one, but she was also a very important character. She dies. There's other ones too, I'm forgetting who, but there was other ones. Oh, Snoke dies.
Yeah. Well,
It's basically as far...
Andy Serkis was like, well, that was a good paycheck.
It's, in many ways, there was chunks of this was like the end, you know, the good stuff in Empire, you know, Return of the Jedi, where you had... the Vader and the Emperor stuff, you know, with Luke Skywalker, you know, at the end. They had this and they stuck this in the middle of it. It
had to happen because Snoke died. So there always has to be balance in the Force. What? Why are you giving me a look?
Doesn't have to be balanced in the
Well, no,
Force.
because that's the best way. There has to be balance.
The chosen one was supposed to bring balance to the Force.
Yeah, but there has to be balance at some point, and I think he understood that. Also, like, you know.
But my point was though the end of that the bit with Snoke at the about 3/4 of the way through was essentially the end of Return of the Jedi, jammed partway through this one. It was basically it was.
Yeah, he turned out to be a real non-issue, didn't he?
Yeah, this is basically the caps. What would usually be the capstone to the trilogy, stuck partway through this one, just as a yeah.
Unless he wasn't really Supreme Leader Snoke.
Who knows? But it's
people lie.
In most that scene, you would have could put a different ending to it, but that would have been the end of the trilogy.
Aye.
Okay.
I was thinking about that. No, I mean, a lot of stuff looked really good. There were a lot of really poignant moments. I really liked the girl who played Rose. She reminded me a little teeny bit of the, the twitchy girl on Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, Cadet Spectrum?
Yeah. Just the teeniest bit. Not a lot, but that was cool. I kind of felt like the end was, the last scene was like a little bit of a nod towards not bringing back the extended universe, but the idea that there will always be Force-sensitive individuals in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're always, speaking from the D20's point of view, there always will be Force-sensitive individuals. But.
I think the canon is in Star Wars that everyone is Force-sensitive to some degree, because everyone's getting interacted with it, and even with Lucas, everyone's got midichlorians. It's just the more you've got, the more you...
Let's just not talk about midichlorians anymore.
Well, technically it's Star Wars canon.
But no, the bit at the end where he's the little slave boy on the casino planet, and go off and be useful. He's like, and he goes and he just force brings his broom over and he's like, oh, someday I want to join the Resistance. And you're like, oh yeah, because there will be young Jedi forever.
There is a lot of
stop the Force.
Okay, the original trilogy, like this one, is clearly being made up as it goes along. Lucas claimed the original trilogy was this grand master plan, in retrospect, but there's a lot.
This is totally
there's a lot of evidence that it wasn't. There was his original Journal of the Wills type, huge epic idea for a epic film, which he did broadly turn into, it took part of the middle, turned into the original trilogy, but a lot of the minutiae made up as it went along. The prequel trilogy clearly broadly was planned in advance. Not everything. Obviously, the Jar Jar thing.
Who's the guy who did How to Make the Prequels Good? That series of videos.
Belated Media.
Yeah, that's a really, if you wow, this is what could have been, go watch his videos because they're fantastic.
They were very good. But the main, as far as I can tell, the main big change that from Lucas's grand plan for the prequels, as bad as the prequels were, was the Jar Jar was supposed to be important in some way, and I think the Darth Jar Jar theory has a lot of good points to it.
Fair enough.
But this one, like the original trilogy, is clearly being made up as it goes along, but it's not being made up as it goes along by the same guy. Lucas was in charge, even though he had least to do with Empire, and he was like an advisor on Return of the Jedi, he still was involved in all three of them, so he had a say. Well, this one, Force Awakens was J.J. Abrams' thing, which he wrote with Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire, and someone else. And then this one's just Rian Johnson. So there's a huge amount of disjoint.
Yeah, but isn't that what makes the Star Wars universe really great? I know that sometimes the extended universe novels got way out of hand, like Zombie Stormtroopers. That's not what I'm saying. But, the fact that, there are a lot of little cool things, like those little crystal foxes that you love, there was probably somebody who came up with that idea. There was a separate artistic designer for that. But what I'm saying is, that's really good because that's what makes, the idea of a shared universe. It's those, big, worldwide, role-playing associations that, will have a shared universe that everyone contributes to.
I think you misunderstood my point.
Oh.
So it wasn't
You're saying it's a good thing.
It wasn't about design and stuff. It was about the storyline.
But that's a part of it, too.
This is, I'm talking about storyline, the just script stuff.
Well.
This clearly has not been planned out as a trilogy because J.J. Abrams does like he likes. He created his mystery boxes, ooh, who is Snoke? Ooh, who were Rey's parents? Just to get people...
Yes, but the thing is, there's a part where Kylo Ren says, I'll tell you who your parents were. Aha! And then he could be lying to get her to go in his way.
He could be, but...
Also, they spent, like, the first third of the film Skyping to each other, which I thought was kind of funny.
But he could have been lying, but we've been given answers to these things, and they're complete non-answers. Well, we got an answer for Rey. It's like, apparently they were junkers, but...
Yeah, but you got answers in Empire Strikes Back, because some of them were true, some of them were not.
They did not... You know, in the original trilogy, you got answers without questions in the original trilogy, like, you know, Luke's father's dead. He was killed by Darth Vader. That was the answer. So it wasn't a big question of what happened to Luke's father. And then you find out the answer was a lie. That's why that was good. Well, this one...
Obi-Wan was lying.
This one, they raised questions. And narratively, if you're raising questions, it's like a Chekhov's gun.
Well, there's going to be another movie. It's not like this is going to be it forever.
I know, but this is a sign that it wasn't planned out by a single creative mind.
Yes, but I'm saying that's not always a bad thing.
It's unusual for Star Wars, and it's a little bit narratively unsatisfying. It's like in the original Spider-Man comics, there was a huge fight between Steve Ditko and Stan Lee about who should be the Green Goblin. Because Green Goblin had been attacking the city, being all terrible for like several issues, and Spider-Man had been fighting, and they were going to reveal the identity of the Green Goblin. Mm-hmm. Steve Ditko, being an objectivist, he was firmly of the opinion it just had to be this random guy that Spider-Man did not know, and he was just going to be evil. And you know, Norman Osborn was a good guy who was the father of Spider-Man's best friend Harry. Mm-hmm. Stan Lee was like, no, narratively that's really unsatisfying. If you're going to reveal this mysterious individual, it has to be someone that the audience are familiar with, because in some way, because otherwise it's just like, why did you make this a big deal? Because evil isn't everybody. Yeah, I'm not talking about...
It's not like, you know, sometimes it's not always, oh my god, it's Hitler. It's, oh my god, it's the guy down the street, you know, who is a rapist, you know, like, that's just how things are.
But in this case, it would be like, oh my god, it's this person I'd never met before. There was an episode of this cartoon show.
We're going to talk about Star Wars, I promise.
Where it was like this DC cartoon show where someone took over the Flash's body, and he's like, I'm going to find out the Flash's secret identity! And he looks in a mirror and takes off the mask, and he's like, I have no idea who this is.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really funny moment, but it's sort of parodying what I'm saying, that you need, in order to be satisfying storytelling, if you're going to set something up to be important, it better be important, or you have to subvert it. This didn't do either.
But that's how things used to be. But that's not how things are in science fiction and fantasy anymore. And I mean, from a lot of the more modern stuff that I've been reading, you know, sometimes like, oh, this is the perfect. Oh, that person's dead. You know, or like, oh, I didn't expect that, or wait, why is that? Oh, you know, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You should subvert it. This one didn't subvert it.
Because a lot of people, I mean, kind of. That trope gets played out, that everything's important, and everything is epic, and everything matters, and everything is meaningful. That's where you get grimdark from.
I don't want everything to be important. What I'm saying is, if something's being signposted as important, then if you reveal it's not important and you don't put any sort of subversion to it, then it's just unsatisfying. That's why you should just make it the Luke Skywalker's father thing in New Hope was not important. It was just a fact. It was blasé, and then it became important when we found out it was wrong.
Right, but the thing is that, like,
this one, it's important.
Who Rey's parents are important to her.
It was important in the narrative of the film.
I didn't care.
Oh, okay.
I was actually secretly hoping that they would be following a bit of extended universe canon, and she and Kylo Ren would be twins, because they had Leia and Han had twins who were both Jedi.
I was hoping for one of the Matter fan theories that Rey was a reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker.
That would be really, really weird, but then that would imply his Force Ghost is not existing anymore.
Oh, it would be inside right. I thought that was it's reincarnation. I thought that was a nice, mad idea that, you know, the chosen one is a recurring reincarnation thing to bring balance to the Force, and you know.
Oh, I think that the whole chosen one thing was one of the faults of both the Sith and the Jedi. You know, this idea that there's going to be one person and they're going to be really special, and Jesus, I hope nothing really fucks up. I mean, that whole idea of hubris, like, you expect hubris from the Sith, you know, but you got hubris from the Jedi.
Yeah.
And that whole kind of like, oh, these people are the chosen ones. That's why I think that, you know, that's what they kind of say, this thing I'm thinking needs to die. So what if she's just the child of drunken junk traders? That's great. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm fine with her being the child of junkers. My only issue
he was
is
the son of Anakin Skywalker, who was the child of a slave.
and of the Force itself. I have no problem with her being the
He said, "Oh, I'm just the Force itself, baby. You can trust me." And she was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Nah, midichlorians. I'm 1,000 midichlorians in a suit."
I have no problem with her being the child of junkers. My issue is that Force Awakens made it into a big deal.
I don't feel the same way, but and I'm automatically right. So there. No, but it was really, really good, and there were some really, really poignant moments and very sad moments as well, and just some really good throwbacks, and I don't know. There was the part where Finn and Rose go off on an adventure, and like it did kind of feel really weird.
That bit, which was in King's Landing, it's really weird. This film, they filmed in two parts of Westeros. They filmed in Malin Head, which is about 30 miles away from here, so it wasn't technically in Northern Ireland, but it was just beside Northern Ireland, and so that's basically Westeros.
There's like a little trailer where you can buy snacks, and is there a toilet up there? I don't think there's a toilet up there. I can't remember. No.
But they also filmed in Dubrovnik, which is in Croatia, and that's where King's Landing's filmed.
Yeah, and there were some other shots were from Skellig Michael off the coast of Donegal.
Oh yeah, the ones with the actual buildings and where you can see it sound.
You can go there. I was thinking that looks like it might have been an old monastery. I found out that I was correct.
Yes, it was. But
there were no fish nuns though, in real life, unless there's something the Republic's not telling us. I mean, the Republic of Ireland, not the Republic, of course, obviously. What?
Yeah, the whole bit in Dubrovnik is the weakest fucking shit in the entire film.
It has, like, a very good message, and I feel that was the message that was echoed throughout the whole film, but it's a little, I don't know, it just feels a little bit uneven.
It's like...
Because, they're like, oh, you have to do this part of the plan, to do this part of the plan, do this part of the plan.
And then it doesn't work.
And nothing works. I was just like, cannot catch a break, can you, Finn?
That whole bit,
they don't use Bacta tubes anymore. They have Bacta suits now, apparently.
And that whole bit is basically in a bit that is so close to real world that it feels a bit weird. In the same way that a lot of the inner city sort of mean streets of Coruscant bits in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, where this stuff...
I'll go home and rethink my life.
Yeah, the Sleaze Pagano.
Yeah.
With his death sticks.
That's so unfortunate. Like, your parents name you Sleaze. Like, well, gotta have to peddle death sticks now.
Yeah, you have that stuff. You have the stuff in the bars. You have the stuff in... the 50s diner. All those bits expanded out and make it some sort of, like, Monaco-type place. And it's just like...
I was thinking it's just like Vegas or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's a terrible place. I was like, is it a wretched hive of scum and villainy? Oh, no, it's not. Damn it.
Wretched hive of villainy and scum.
Aye. And Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro, the rumors were that he would be playing Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels, and it's like, I don't actually watch Rebels.
That's the cartoon show, right?
Yeah, but one of its supporting characters was, what do you call him, from Rogue One?
Oh, okay.
Not Rebels, sorry, Clone Wars.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or Rebels. I can't remember. I don't watch them. But
there's a cartoon.
Forrest Whitaker's guy, the cyber guy who got killed off, who was
the
crazy leader.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he debuted in those cartoons.
Oh, right, that's true. Yeah, you did tell me that.
But, the rumor was that it would be Ezra Bridger, and I'm like, I'm a bit sad about that, even though I don't watch the cartoons, but holy crap, Benicio del Toro, what the fuck happened to you? You're approaching like 60-ish, and you look like you're 45.
Maybe he was played by Andy Serkis in a mocap.
Maybe he was, or they put all the budget on de-aging him for some reason. It's like, I've seen him in our films recently, and it's like he's 15 years younger. I'm like, good work, Benicio del Toro.
You know what I was waiting to happen, actually? It has nothing to do with Benicio del Toro, but I was thinking about it just now. I was really waiting. You know the reason why Kylo Ren's lightsaber has cross guards? It's Nash was tweeting about this. He fucked up when he was building his lightsaber, and the kyber crystal it's cracked. It can't handle all of the energy he's pumping through it. So those are actually vents, which is why the main blade goes up first and then the vent. That's why his blade is like serrated, because it's unstable. I was waiting for Luke to just make a kyber crystal explode. None for you.
Ah, there was other things I wanted to mention I have forgotten.
That's not my fault.
It's
Lots
totally
of
your fault.
really cute little creatures, the porgs. You can already buy plushies of them. Little crystal foxes, which are actually really adorable.
Yeah, I like both of
They make
them.
a little noise.
Phasma went out like a complete bitch.
I don't think she's dead. Quite honestly.
I think I wouldn't put it past her to still be alive, but I think it would be a bit of an achievement to survive that.
Yeah, well.
She
just gotta go out like
she
Fett.
she is the Boba Fett of
Boba
this
Fett
trilogy.
where?
But at least Boba Fett got Empire Strikes Back to be cool in, and Phasma gets treated like she's cool and intimidating until she's just completely wrecked really easily in both her appearances. It's like, do nicer things to Gwendolyn Christie, please.
I kind of want to read. There's a whole entire novel about her. Now that's out, and I want to read that, and I want to read From a Certain Point of View, which is a whole bunch of stuff from the Star Wars universe told like from another point of view, like the scene in Mos Eisley from the point of view of that bartender with like the scruff. So it's kind of
We don't serve your kind here.
You'll have to
Do
leave.
you know Phasma's chrome armor? Do you know what it is from? Because that's actually, it's got an origin of its own.
I don't know that actually.
Well, there's a real life origin and there's a origin. In the real life origin, it was because it was a callback to J.J. Abrams liking 1950s cars. But in the in universe, it's actually made from the exterior hull of Queen Amidala's ship from Phantom Menace.
Fair enough.
Oh, the one thing that I found
What if
really
the only
funny,
one who ends up coming to the Resistance aid are the Gungans? Here we are! And you're like, oh no! Go back to the sea.
Do you want your mind blown?
Oh dear, why?
Okay. George Lucas, when he was growing up, his family did not want him to go into filmmaking. His dad wanted him to go into the family business. He rebelled, and he had his big dreams, and he followed them, and he left home, and he did something amazing. He became, in many ways, a legend. Luke Skywalker's story in New Hope was deliberately sort of, I don't know if this was deliberate or not, it was similar to George Lucas's one.
Well, you're right what you know.
And so I don't know if he meant it or not, but that's you can see the parallels. And then, of course, what did Lucas do afterwards? After many years, he went back to try and rekindle, what made him great in the first place with the original series, with the prequels.
It was terrible.
It was so bad and messed up. And so Lucas left Star Wars, go off by himself, and is doing absolutely nothing to do with Star Wars. What did Luke do after he set up the Jedi school, and then Kylo Ren happened and killed everyone,
And then he
and
went off
ruined
and
it?
hid in the island.
You see, Luke Skywalker's storyline parallels George Lucas's perfectly, except George Lucas survived this film, I think, probably.
Well, yeah, making a lot of money off that.
Although he did, Lucas has seen it and did say that it was visually very beautiful. So apparently he's made some degree of peace with it.
Oh, there was one part with a huge explosion where like the whole entire theater went silent because like there's no sound for a second. You're like, we were sat next to a family with like 3 small kids, and I was thinking, it's gonna make a lot of noise. They didn't. I think they all fell asleep. And then I was worried that we were making too much noise. I was like, oh, we don't want to bother the children. But yeah,
Did that blow your mind?
Yeah, not really.
Oh.
You write what you know. Oh, come on. Every writer is their own main character all the time. Even if they're not, they really are. Even if they say they're not, they're lying. I'm just saying.
But it's J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson who wrote Luke Skywalker's story paralleling the prequels.
Yeah, but that's fine. They're like, look, this thing that happened in real life, we'll mirror it in art as a metaphor, because that's never happened in art before.
I think Frank Oz is like Chewbacca, and Jim Henson's Han Solo, because Jim Henson's dead, and so's Han Solo.
It. Do not profane.
I'm not profaning them. I'm saying that
Poor Frank Oz, he's got to be getting up there, though, in years.
And that makes it perfect for him to voice Yoda still, because Yoda's in this.
Fortunately, everybody in a pub thinks that they can do Yoda's voice. So if once Frank Oz passes on, everyone in a pumpkin.
Yeah, you got with Frank Oz. You don't have the problem with James Earl Jones. When James Earl Jones's voice is so recognizably old that you should replace him with an impersonator.
Yeah.
You know, you just watch his voice bits in Rogue One. It's like, I'm sorry.
You can tell it's easy.
You need a new Vader voice.
Fair play to him, fair play.
Yeah, it's like nothing against.
Back in the day, back in the 80s, you used to be able to, if you paid enough to a charity of his choice, send him a cassette tape, and he'd record an answering machine message for you as Darth Vader. But
the great thing with Frank Oz, even though he's getting up there too, although he's not as old as James Earl Jones.
That's true.
Because in this one he's voicing Yoda, but he's voicing older, slightly silly Yoda from Empire Strikes Back and Jedi, and it's like you can't tell the age of the voicing because he's playing old, and it's really good. And I don't know if they got an actual Yoda puppet or if they made CGI to look like a puppet.
It does look like a practical effect, and that's kind of cool. That is a really good throwback.
Yeah.
there was some good throwbacks. I mean, I could have stood to see more of R2-D2 and C-3PO, but then again, they'll always be my first loves from the original series.
Chewbacca's face is weird because they've decided for some reason the practical mask isn't good enough, so they CGI'd his face.
I didn't notice a difference, quite honestly.
His face is CGI because the practical mask. It's just like it's very, very restricted. That's what you're used to.
Maybe he finally got that jaw surgery he's always dreamed.
And this one, he's got all sorts of articulation and CGI.
I don't think that's a problem.
You can see it in the trailer whenever he roaring, and then you see the Porg beside him, and it's just like, what the fuck, Chewbacca?
I don't see that as a problem.
It's a problem because it's technically better. It's technically more impressive, but it's creating a dissonance because it's not like it was before.
Yeah, but you have to understand there's gonna come a point when these movies are going to be primarily for this generation, not for those of us who are running around in 1985.
Yes, but
with a broom handle going, I am a Jedi Master, I'm not going to take a nap.
The children who watch these ones, who are kids now, will have seen the older ones, and so it's
will they, though?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, they will have.
I don't know.
They will.
Well, the new,
they will have seen the old
ones with, extra Coruscant inserted.
Well, probably, but if this Disney deal, Fox deal happens, the chances are we'll get an original cut too.
I would really love to have the original cut on DVD, warts and all.
My point is, it's basically changing they've not just upgraded the technology, they've made it look different as a result of that. It's like taking the Millennium Falcon and making it look different just for no reason at all. I
think that you're...
It takes me out of it.
Well, then you're not trying very hard.
Well, it's a similar issue I have with how lightsabers look in the new ones.
This is why you don't go into the film and theater arts, because you're going to end up like her, unable to enjoy things, because you're like, the CGI of Chewbacca's mouth, and I'm like...
Yeah, previously there was no CGI.
Oh, it's so poignant. Oh, I remember. Oh, my lived experience. Oh, Jesus, it's so... And I'm involved in them. Oh, and nothing happened. I'm gonna cry. And you're like, they shouldn't have changed the CGI of Chewbacca's mouth.
What do you mean? They shouldn't have brought CGI in at all. My point is the practical mask.
Because sometimes that's what people expect these days.
Because the practical mask was... That's how Wookiees were, and I think in Revenge of the Sith, basically, even though they're CGI, they're basically the same sort of thing.
They evolved.
But now, Wookiees' faces are... their faces are completely different because of the different technology.
You don't see many Wookiees ever.
You did in Revenge of the Sith. You saw a bunch of them.
Yeah, but you don't, it's not like we're hanging out with them,
We're hanging out with Chewbacca, and suddenly his face is really different looking.
Maybe he got surgery.
It's a different actor playing him, too.
That's true.
I have a similar issue, and this is even more pathetic, with the lightsabers. In the original trilogy and the prequels, the lightsabers were done with white sticks.
Yeah.
Which were then colored in post. And this one, they're actually done with sticks that are colored the color of the blade. Mm-hmm. And you can see, whenever you have a lightsaber near something, you can see the color of it on their skin, which you never could see before because, obviously, it was not an actual practical colored light.
I think that looks neat.
It does look neat. However, it looks completely different. It's changed the form of what the lightsaber looks like in the universe, which it's
you're gonna have to accept that it's not gonna be the 1970s forever.
This isn't even 1970s. This was like the prequels as well.
Well, things change.
I agree with that. I'm not. I know that things change
over time.
I know things change. It's just I liked the look of the original one because it made it a little bit ethereal. That the lightsaber was there and not there, which I quite liked.
Or some properties of the kyber crystals are changing. I liked Snoke's throne room. I felt like a 1970s sci-fi paperback novel cover.
I did like that room.
It was really great.
His
Kylo Ren, like Adam Driver's build. Like for some reason, like I remembered him as like this weedy little alt-right. Oh, speaking of the alt-right, how about Commander Ginger alt-right? We're gonna crush this scum. But no, like I just remembered him as like this weedy, whiny little guy. Did he like have to bulk up for a part because she's like they're force Skyping with each other and they got a shirt. She's like, "Could you put a towel on?" And I'm like, "Why? He's built." Like, look at him. He's like, "Yep, look at me, everybody. You thought I was a wimp. Look at these pecs."
I think in the city seems to be just as built as before, so I think he always was like that.
Maybe
it's just
like
black is slimming.
His character imparted that upon me. Like a whiny little dick.
Lee is a whiny little dick.
Piss hands. I'm so angry. Emo Ren.
He's so angry he destroyed his mask.
And like the first line, I was crying because Snoke was like, "Would you take that ridiculous thing off?" I was like, "Thank you." He said what we were thinking.
And the
good on you, Sith.
Snoke's guards, the red guys.
They were hardcore.
They were not as cool looking as the Emperor's guards. But
they could fight.
They could
the
do
Emperor's
some
guards just fucking stood around and were like, "Well, I'm fucking off."
Yeah, but they looked really cool, and that was the main thing.
No.
This one, you had the fight with it was Kylo Ren and Rey killing all those guys, but I thought it was wonderful. These guys have these sort of lightsaber-ish weapons, which are really hardcore, but they're obviously not as good as real lightsabers because their armor deflects against them.
Yeah.
But their armor is...
Implying that there's like a lot of times you knock yourself in the head with your lightsaber chain.
Their armor's not good enough to deflect against a lightsaber. So basically, well, I can't commit suicide, but I actually, it's not helping me in actual combat. So it's like, well done. That's perfect. And the only people my armor's helping me save me from is me.
But isn't that a property of armor, really?
No. You're supposed to use it against, it's supposed to defend you from other people. It's like the silliest thing.
Well, that's so in case they ever tried to uprise, Snoke could just be like, "Done my feeling with you."
It's not quite to the same level as, some fictional Viking chieftain ordering a lot of helmets and they've all got the horns on the inside, but it's not that far removed.
Anyway. But yeah, no, we're coming up on the end of our tape. Well, digitally wise, obviously our camera doesn't have tape anymore, but as a memory card. But no, it was really fantastic. Stop making a face. It was really good. Just go see it. I wish I could say more. I will probably think of more stuff, more thematic stuff that I want to say, but like I say, it's probably closer to 4 in the morning, and I'm getting up today to go to uni and to do more work.
She's going to punch me because I disagreed with her on things.
No, I don't care. You're allowed to. It's your own opinion. I just think you're wrong.
I'm not. I'm only allowed to when the camera's on. Because it's witnesses.
Abuse. Alright, so may the force be with you. Always.
Peace
no!
and long life.
Stop it! Traitor!